rising, as you're coming into the live, make sure that you click that thumbs up button. I don't really have a lot of time to talk, got a lot of things on the schedule today, but I wanted to check in really, really fast. I wanted to be accountable about some things, keep it real, keep it gutter about some things, let y'all know what's going on with me, let you know what's been my struggles in this fast. So I am still practicing celibacy. I have not been intimate with anyone since I said I was not going to. Today is what? Yeah, today is 2 weeks now. It's been 2 weeks since I was intimate with anyone. Well, yesterday was 2 weeks, so it's 15 days. Um, I have not had a drink. Um, yeah, I have not had a drink in over a week. Um, I haven't had any red meat, but I'm fiending for a piece of chicken. Like I'm fiending for like I want that Nashville hot chicken. It's calling me. It keep calling me. It just keep calling me. But I haven't had any red meat. Um, I've also wait a minute. I did have some goat gravy on top of my mashed potatoes, so technically, you could say I had a little bit of red meat, but it was a gravy. It was a gravy. Um, I have had a puff or two or three, maybe three puffs, maybe three puffs. I had a puff last night. I had two puffs. I took two puffs off of my daughter's trees, and then 2 days before that, I took three puffs. It's a process, y'all. But that is a lot better. Like I'm weaning myself, it's a weeding process. It's a weeding process. Weeding. We're weeding ourselves. But I want to be honest. I did have, I think I had three puffs. I had three puffs Wednesday, and then I had three puffs Wednesday. And then it kind of messed me up because I was watching I was watching the Upshawns, and I saw a episode where the wife had got robbed, and I was kind of upset because I watched it and I started feeling away about it, and like I guess that was my punishment. But then last night I had had a long day, and I had just, and I think I was just kind of like reeling from, the live that we did yesterday, and I was trying to calm myself down so that I could go to sleep. So I did like literally take one big puff last night, and I held it in. But it's a weaning process where I'm getting ready to go. I'm not gonna be doing it at all. So, but it's just like I don't know. It's just like, girl, can I have just this one quick moment? Like I really have been doing a good job of kind of like weaning myself off and kind of like being more disciplined. But I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I got it all down, and I have just been on it. Like I've been doing everything right. Like I haven't touched weed. I haven't tasted some gravy. Like I'm gonna go ahead and be honest and say, yeah, I done tasted some gravy, and yeah, I done snuck and had a puff here and there. If I'm being honest. But as far as the alcohol, the sex, the red meat, like I haven't really like had a piece of chicken or had a hamburger or like literally just went in like I could go in like, and I ain't been around here rolling joints and smoking whole joints and shit. But you know what I'm saying? I have snuck a puff here and there. I have snuck a puff. Like if I'm gonna keep it 100, like twice this week I snuck me a little puff in. Yeah, it was a puff done here and there. But I think I'm gonna be, I think I'm getting into getting back to where I was. Like I'm getting back to my discipline space. It's just taking a little bit of time to get, fully re-emerged in it. But what I wanted to come on the video and talk about now that we done got the accountability out of the way, now that I'd have been honest with my purple ones and my gray ones, and I done kept it a beam with y'all. Now I wanna, talk about what I really came on here to talk about. Make sure you click that thumbs up button. If you're not a monitor spirit and you're not just here to be nosy, make sure you click that thumbs up button, support the live, help me get through the algorithm. But anyway, yeah, so I was having this conversation with another trans person, and it came up again because I noticed that a lot of pre-op trans people who have not had bottom surgery, when we get into arguments and I call them a man or I call them a fag, it hit different coming from me because I've had bottom surgery. Like they get like I listen to them arguing with each other and calling each other, men and he's and punks and fags, but the moment a sex change enter the chat, a moment a girl that's then got rid of her penis enters the chat and calls somebody a man, a punk, and a fag, everybody want to get super, super offended. It's like, oh, you can't say that word no more because you got a pussy now. Like you have a vagina now. You have a vaginal opening. You have went and got your anatomy changed to mirror that of a Yanni, to channel that Yanni energy. So now you don't have the privilege of being able to say the word punk and say the word fag. You can't say that anymore because that's oppressive. Like pretty much that's the details of it. But let me tell you something. When this is my problem with a lot of pre-op girls, and it's different situations because some girls who are pre-op, they 100% bottoms, but they've never had any type of surgery, they've never changed anything on their body, but they're 100% bottoms, and they feel like because they 100% bottoms, then they're the cuntiest of the cunty, the fishy of the fishiest of the fishiest, because they ain't never topped nothing, they ain't never been on top of nothing. And so you have those kind of girls. Then you have those kind of girls who are super super fishy, who are super super cunty, who have really really went the distance in their physical transition, but love climbing on backs, love climbing on these boys' backs. And then and like I told her, it's like y'all want to be able to have y'all cake and eat it too. Y'all want to be able to climb on the boys' backs, and then when you get into an argument with somebody, you only want somebody to use female pronouns or to use feminine pronouns to address you. And I think that this is a vulnerability for the trans community. This is an Achilles heel when you have a problem with being called male pronouns, or being like when an argument is happening, when a disagreement is happening, you have a problem with somebody referencing you in that way or speaking about you in that way, but meanwhile you're enjoying the benefits of climbing on bags and stabbing cookies. Now, when I was pre-op and I was climbing on bags and stabbing cookies, the word trans wasn't really a thing because I think I only got cookies one time, like 6 months before I got ready to have my surgery. I got back with this gay dude who I used to mess with, and he literally offered me the cookies because he was trying to get me not to have the surgery. And I think I got cookies like one time. Like I had his cookies like one time. But literally when I was diving in the boys' cookies and when I was climbing on the boys' backs, I wasn't worried about being called a trans woman. Like it really wasn't a big thing for me. But when I was like really, really embracing that term trans woman, and I was really, really like caught up in it, and willing to go to war for that word and willing to fight about that word, I really was 100% about them. I really was strictly about them. Like when I was in a relationship with my husband, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's rumored that other hoes was topping him behind my back, I never topped him. Like I never was. I was 100% the receiver. I was 100% like I played my role. Because when we say trans woman, most trans women, not all trans women, um fall into this role of being the woman in the relationship with a cis or heterosexual man. And so it's just crazy for me that the girls get offended. And this is where the problem comes up for me, just like in all things. in not being able to call a thing a thing. Like I say this all the time. Do not give me a cup of dookie and tell me it's a caramel frappe because you put some whipped cream on the top of it. Do not give me a glass of piss and tell me that it's lemonade because you put some sugar in it. You gave me a cup of dookie with whipped cream on top of it, and you gave me a cup of piss with some sugar in it. Let's call a thing a thing. This is why I talk about wholeness. This is why I talk about lay lim lay lur. This is why I have created terms to speak about myself that acknowledge my wholeness. I'm not going to let you tell me who I am, but I'm also not about to make up a fairy tale version of myself that erases my truth. I am my mother and my father, my grandmother and my grandfather, my great grandmother and my great grandfather. I'm a combination of them. When I came into this reality, I had male genitalia. We have not done enough testing to know if I was intersexed in other ways. We don't know. We just know that when I came here, I had male genitalia and I did not feel comfortable with that genitalia. So I made some changes to my body. This is what we know factually. This is the information that we have before us factually. But I am not a person who is around here trying to erase my connection to my fathers, although I did physically erase that when I was going through this space of feeling like I had been rejected by the patriarchy, feeling like I had been rejected from male spaces. And so changing my body and altering my body to erase them, that was a part of the journey. But this is accountability. Accountability has been happening for years now. Accountability has been happening since 2015. Boo, it's 2025. I've been being accountable about this since 2025. I mean, since 2015. 10 years, I have been talking about wholeness, talking about balance. I have been moving into this space of forgiving my forefathers and still holding them accountable, still holding them accountable, and holding my foremothers accountable, still holding everyone accountable, but developing a language whereas I don't have to fabricate a story about who I am, and I also don't have to demean or demote or degrade myself in order to talk about myself as a person. And so, the purpose of this video is to basically sit up here and have a conversation about how it's crazy work how when I'm arguing with a pre-op girl, especially, and I can't talk about white girls because I don't have arguments with white girls. I'm not close enough to any Caucasian trans women or any trans women of any other nationality besides that of my own. Excuse me, I'm not close enough to anything other than um deeply melanated trans women possessing negritude, indigenous trans women. Those are the people that I'm mostly in spaces with, that I share spaces with. And I just noticed that it's a pattern of y'all feeling a way when a girl who's had bottom surgery, a girl who's had a sex change, being who's had the sex change enters the chat and start giving it up, saying fag and saying punk. And as you noticed yesterday when I was on the live, I called myself a sissy, a punk, and a faggot because I know that when Mad Day come, that's what all y'all gonna say. And so I'm going to take the power from you and I'm going to say it first. Is that how I see myself? Is that the energy that I rest in? Is that the energy that I abide in? Is that my dominant space? Hell no. But I'm not going to try to erase that from my origin story. I'm not going to paint a picture of my existence or my being without including those important facts. Because there was a punk phase. And when you play with me too much, I will revisit that energy and eat that greasy pork chop. There was a punk phase. There was a punk fag phase. There was a sissy phase. And I can tap into that energy whenever I need to. Bottom surgery or not. I can tap into that energy. And I'm not ashamed of that energy because I'm whole. I'm whole. And there's a teaspoon of fag in there, a pinch of sissy, and a dash of punk. Yes, it is. A dash of punk, a teaspoon of sissy, and a pinch of fag. And whenever I need to tap into either or all three of them simultaneously, I will. And we have to understand that you can't hold me to the standard that you hold other girls who've had the sex change to, because I don't maneuver like them. I'm not them. Stop using the trauma that you've experienced from other stealthy sex change girls and making that my burden. Because I've never abandoned you bitches. I've never exalted myself over you bitches. But I do talk about the nuance. I do talk about the differences because y'all don't talk about them. I'm going to advocate for me. Yes, having bottom surgery, I don't have to feel awkward when I'm in female spaces changing clothes. I can have conversations about my body and not be embarrassed to have them. My social worker just left my house and we were sitting up here talking about vaginas, how minds work. Like, I was very open and vulnerable about it. And I was able to have that conversation with her and not feel away because I wasn't talking about penis and testicles. And she was able to ask questions about how does it work? Does it hurt? I was able to educate her. This is not a conversation you're going to have with your caseworker pre-op. You're not going to talk to your female caseworker like that. And so I'm able to have conversations and educate females, educate beings who are born with vaginas about what we go through in order to feel comfortable in our bodies so that there can be some compassion for them, from them, and there can be a greater understanding. When she walked into the house and she saw, oh, she walked into the house and what did she see? She walked into the house and she saw what? A big vagina. She saw a beautiful 6 foot something tall woman. She saw another woman with in the process of having, yes, this is a temple that honors the mother. We honor the mother and the father. You can see him over there. You can see the male and the female deity over there sitting on the altar with. But baby, we gets it in for the mother and the father over here, Buki. We gets it in for the mother though. The mother gonna get her life up in here, Buki. Oh yes, ma'am. Mama shall be honored, and mama shall be acknowledged. Off up in this piece, off up in here. Oh yes, ma'am. The mother and the father get their praise, but we gonna make sure we get it in for mama. We gonna get it in for mama up in here. And it don't matter how I got here. It don't matter how I got here. I'm here. Whether I was born with it or whether I laid on a table for it. It don't matter how I got here. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Okay? Right? Clock it. Don't matter if it fell in my lap or if I had to lay on the table and take a nap. I'm here, baby. Clock it. Clock it. And I don't need to carry no life inside me. I don't need to birth nothing. Because there's plenty of babies here, plenty of children here that y'all throw away every day that need love. So I'm the mother to the ones that a lot of y'all have abandoned. I'm the Mafa, excuse me. Mother, father. I'm the Mafa. The Dama. Okay? The daddy mama. Okay? Clock it. Clock it. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to get on the live, get on the live and say today is that when I was climbing on the boys' backs, I wasn't worried about what I was being called. I wasn't hard up to be recognized. I felt like I was being forced to fit into a certain category because I was so feminine, because I was so passable. And at the time, at one during one season when I was topping, I was going to seminary school and we were not allowed to talk about our wholeness. And when this movement first started, there was talk of a T having T's on our ID, being able to identify as trans. And I was one that wanted the T. I've said this many times and I'll say it again. But when I saw none of my sisters wanted it, all my sisters wanted that F, I shut up. I set that one out. But I never wanted the F. I was not one of the girls. I still didn't want no penis down there, but I never wanted the F. I never wanted to hide. But that's what we had to do. The government made this mess by creating a society that made you feel ostracized and made you feel like you would be a target if you could not blend in, if you could not fit in. The government created this climate, just like they're doing now, bringing it back to the two genders. They're creating the climate. They're fear mongering. And now the girls got to be extremely passable or they got to give up the ship, depending on which state they're in. Because if you're not living in a state where the consciousness is higher, a man, a woman, if you're living in a state where the consciousness is lower vibrational, unfortunately, like the state where I was born, Louisiana or Mississippi, if you're living in a lower vibrational, lower consciousness state, then stony the road we tried, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. That's what you got. So, and then there's that. And that's why I live where I live. But my activism and my work will always reach beyond where I physically dwell. My activism and my work will always reach back home to inspire beings who are navigating a different climate. A lot of my sisters were smart and they were strategic and they saw what was coming. They felt it in their shundai, they felt it in their spirit. And so they were out getting their name changes and their paperwork. Last year, I realized that everything that happens, it happens for a reason because in 2020 in 2021, no, in 2022, somebody stole my passport in December of 2022. No, no, on Thanksgiving, we were celebrating Thanksgiving at my job, and somebody stole my purse and it had my passport in it. When I tell you now, I understand why my passport was stolen because my passport would have expired in 2026. Knowing me, I would not have gotten my passport renewed last year. I would have waited till it was too late to try to get my passport renewed. But because my passport was stolen, I got my passport renewed last year because I thought I was going out of the country for something, but it made me get my passport renewed last year. So, baby, my passport is good until 2026. Pool, big fat F, big fat F till 2026. Not 2026. My bad, because the passport lasts 10 years. So 20, like my passport is good for 10 years from now. I got it done in 2023. So what that is, like 2033? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like that be good for another 10 years. So if I need to make a mad dash, if I need to hit them up style, if I need to make a run for the border. So I realize that everything that happens, it happens for a reason. I realized that crazy stuff that happened to me, because I was devastated when I lost my passport. But now looking back, I see that's why your passport was stolen for such a time as this. Brand new, honey. Brand new. Yes, I'm good. But yeah, before I get ready to get off this live, we're going to do a candle. But I did want to say this, you know, we have to stop. With some sex change girls, I could understand the tension and the friction because of how those girls have treated you in the past or how those girls have made you feel. But you have to be able to um, consider who you're talking to. Because I am not a sex change girl who feels that you girls are beneath me. That pre-op girls are beneath me. I do feel like I have experiences that you have not had, but some of y'all have had experiences that I haven't had. Some of y'all have created children. Some of y'all have helped to bring children here physically. Some of y'all have used that key to go in that door and summon some ancestors here. And that's an experience that I have not had in this particular form. And so we just have different journeys. So I'm not a girl who thinks like that. And I just want to invite you to really, really revisit why you feel the way you feel about why you feel like you can be amongst each other and call each other punks and fags and play and call each other sissies and trannies and shit like that. And then the moment that a sex change girl give you too much, y'all be feeling away, but yet and still y'all be amongst each other because y'all know y'all climbing on them boys' backs. And like I said, this it was so serious for me. I did not get the F on my identification changed until I had bottom surgery. Like I waited until I had bottom surgery to go and get the F on my ID. And this is not a shun to girls who did not wait, girls who just went and got it. I'm just saying for me, so this is where I'm different. This is where I'm of a different breed. In order for me to feel comfortable having an F on my ID, I waited till the year that I had my bottom surgery, and then that's when I got my F. So I'm not no girl who was around here climbing on the boys' backs or ready to risk it all, ready to get into a big old argument because you don't identify me as a woman. Cause you're not giving me my woman roses. You're not giving me my woman props. I'm not really messed up about it now. I'm thankful that I'm older and I'm mature. I know who I am. I remember my auntie before my auntie left this earth. My auntie when I first started my transition. Oh wait a minute, here go incense. My auntie, when I first started my transition, and I'm gonna close out with this story. Who passed on Easter Sunday? My auntie, um, me and my little cousins, both of them were Sagittarius, and they lived for me. And they ain't never had no problem with pronouns. They always respected me and called me she, and because that's all they knew. I started my transition when they was little. So that's all they had ever seen was a girl. So when I'm looking for the lighter in my pocket. Look at me. But that's all they had ever seen was a girl. Now what did I do with the incense? Yeah, that's all they had ever seen was a girl. So yeah, that's all they had ever seen was a girl. So my auntie was like, my auntie waited until I left the house and she talked to them and she told them, why y'all keep calling him she? So when I came back and I started talking to them because I had ran to the store, when I came back, they, and it's been like this ever since. Like when they talk to me, they try not to say my gender. They try to use as few words as possible so they don't have to say she, so they keep the conversation really, really brief because I think she traumatized them because when they were young, they were extremely young, and she corrected them and told them that, and that's their grandmother, so of course they had the utmost respect for their grandmother, but it really damaged the relationship that I had with them. Now mind you, we had a beautiful relationship. I used to walk in, check in, and they talked to me so normal and so comfortable. And after that, it was no more of that. They didn't know how to talk to me. They didn't know how to communicate with me. So now the communication between us is very dry and it's very brief because they don't want to disrespect me, but they also don't want to disrespect her, even after she's gone. So it really sabotaged the relationship that I could have had with my little cousins. And mind you, when they were babies, I used to babysit them. I used to go and I used to give them presents. Like I was very close. I was a crucial part. Like I was a foundational part of their childhood. But they didn't know how to communicate with me after she said that to them. So she when I asked her about it, she said, "Well, it's only one truth." And I said, "That's a lie from the pits of hell," and I cast it back into the sea of nothingness from whence it came, because at that time I was a Christian. And there isn't that, like, at the end of the day, the one truth is that we all come from one space, but we are all experiencing different truths because we all have different journeys based on our genetic makeup, based on how we see the world, based on how we experience the world. And so it is not, truth is based on perception. And so if I'm experiencing the world as a female who identifies with womanhood, then my truth is going to be different than someone who is than somebody who is experiencing the world from that level. Now, if my like we all experience the world in very different ways. Like that's the truth. So anyway, I gotta wrap it up because I gotta return a phone call. But before she died, she apologized and she said, what I did was wrong, and what you got going on in your life, that's between you and God. And I should not have told you, I should not have done that. And she asked me how I wanted to be identified. And I told her, these are my exact words. I said, at this point, it really doesn't matter because I know who I am. I didn't need her to call me she. I didn't need her to acknowledge me as a woman because I know who I am. I know who I am. So at this point, it really doesn't matter how you see me. It matters how I see myself. A man, a woman. It matters how I see myself. And a lot of you need other people to validate you because you don't believe it yourself. So you need other people to keep telling you it so that you can believe it. But when you know who you are, it doesn't matter how anyone else sees you. It matters how you see yourself. And I'm going to close that with that. As I light this candle on the physical plane, it grows with intensity and purpose on the spiritual plane, preparing us for times that are now. Bounding round both circle and square, we too speak life, so operations beware, sending healing to those in despair, ill by Bosawai, which means we come in peace, no harm to any lelim, leler, leler, lelim. In Gani, Iyanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess, and if I am, you know you are. This candle represents the ancestors of the past, the present, and the future. Thank you for the ones who are coming, the ones who are here, and the ones who will come and are ever preparing us for times that are now. I'm gonna leave the candle lit because I wanna save it for later to blow it out. But be sure to light your candles and remember in closing, you don't have to be filthy rich to stand on business. Love y'all. Later. Laylim Layler Nation, Purple Ones rise.